I'm Robbie Jenkins, and I'm doing my case study presentation for William Woods University 503, case study presentation 2.1. I have chosen the case McGab versus Orleans Parish School Board, Court of Appeal of Louisiana, 4th Circuit, July 15th, 1970. A little history about the case. On the day of August 16th, 1966, Robert McGab was on the football squad of Benjamin Franklin Senior High School. Robert was participating in training exercises on the second day of practice. Coaches Robert E. O'Neill and Sam A. Modello were supervising the practice that began at 3:45 p.m. at Audubon Park in New Orleans. At around 5:20 p.m., while participating in an exercise known as wind sprints, Robert McGab showed signs of fatigue and fell down. When Robert fell down, assistant coach Sam Modello removed Robert from further activities immediately. Robert was then assisted to the school bus by teammates Robert Wisner and Wayne Webb. Robert McGab showed signs of nausea and vomited before entering the bus and while being transported to Benjamin Franklin Senior High School. He also had trouble getting up the steps into the bus and into the seat and was assisted by Robert Wisner and Wayne Webb to get on the bus. When Robert arrived at the school at approximately 5:40 p.m., he was assisted into the school and put on a blanket. His clothing was removed and immediately given a shower with water at room temperature. At 6:45, Robert's parents were contacted and asked if there was a preference of a physician. Robert's mother, Joy McGab, called Dr. H. Phillips, who arrived at the school at approximately 7:15 p.m. Dr. Phillips had been Robert's attending physician who had seen Robert on April 16, 1962, and on May 10, 1966, where he diagnosed Robert with periodic rise in blood pressure and a heart murmur. Dr. Phillips arrived approximately 2 hours after the collapse at practice and diagnosed Robert with heat exhaustion with shock to an advanced degree. Robert was transported to a hospital where he was looked at by other doctors who tried treatment to no avail, and Robert passed away at 2:30 a.m. The case, plaintiffs Joy McGab and her husband, Dr. William J. McGab, filed suit against defendants Orleans Parish School Board, Robert E. O'Neill, the head football coach, Sam A. Modello, assistant football coach, Miss Estelle Barkmeyer, principal of the school, Dr. Carl J. Dulce, superintendent of Orleans Parish School Board, Jack Pisano, supervisor of Health, Safety, and Physical Education Division of Instruction of Orleans Parish School Systems, and Continental Casualty Company. The plaintiff sued to recover a judgment in favor of Miss Joy McGab in the amount of $55,000 and her husband, Dr. William J. McGab, in the amount of $56,000, $634.75. They also sued Continental Casualty together for the amount of $1,693.50 and also attorney fees and costs. The McGabs felt this was for damages incurred due to the death of Robert McGab due to the negligence of the defendants in failing to perform their duty of providing all necessary and reasonable safeguards to prevent accidents, injuries, and sickness of football players for Benjamin Franklin Senior High School. The plaintiffs claimed that proper medical treatment was not given to Robert at the sign of heat exhaustion and that Robert was denied proper medical treatment for almost 2 hours. The defendants denied the allegations of negligence. They assert that salt tablets and drinking fountains were available during the workout session and adequate rest was given to players when needed. Robert was removed from activity immediately and that first aid was administered by them properly for mild heat exhaustion. The defendants also claimed contributory negligence of Robert's parents for allowing him to play football when they knew about his diagnosis of high blood pressure and abnormal heart sounds. The lower court rendered judgment in favor of the defendants, dismissing the plaintiff's case of their costs. The plaintiffs appealed the case to the Court of Appeal of Louisiana, 4th Circuit. The findings of the upper court found that the lower court was correct in dismissing the case and affirmed and dismissed the plaintiff's suit against Miss Estelle Berkemeyer, Dr. Carl J. Dulce, and Miss Ines C. Pisano, executive section of Jack Pisano. During the trial phase, or the court case, Mr. Pisano passed away, and so those responsibilities went to his wife. The judgment was removed against the defendants, Orleans Parish School Board, Robert E. O'Neill, and Sam A. Mandello. The plaintiffs were granted $20,000 from Miss Joy McGabgab and $21,634.75 in favor of Dr. William J. McGabgab. Mr. McGabgab was also awarded $941.23 for funeral costs and $693.50 for medical bills. In looking at this case, back in 1970, the first aid and things weren't as good as what we have today, and with the rules that we have in place and the training that we have for our coaches, I would hope that coaches would be able to see something like this coming on with one of their athletes, and with the heat acclimation that MSHA puts into play, this also helps in case of something to this nature. Unfortunately, this does happen occasionally, but I think that with coaches being aware of their surroundings and what's going on, cases like this are hopefully diminishing. Thank you.